Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's your girl Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. Let me move this way. Oops. There we go. Oh, my chair. I got stuff everywhere. Sorry. It's called I'm going to a premiere, and I just have clothes everywhere. Move this chair over. Sorry. There we go. I think I moved it over. There we go. Hi. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. Thank you for bearing with me through that very uncomfortable and unplanned opening. Oh my God, I am a hot mess. Anyway, I am in New York City. I am right across the street from the Lincoln Center, and I'm going to see a very special movie that I'll talk about in a few minutes. But if this is your first time joining me, give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you are here. Click the bell for notifications if you are on the YouTube. And yeah, that's it. So let me get into, I usually tell everybody what I did the week before. And so what I did the week before was this. I went to a reception for One Battle After Another. There I am in my little, I pull out that pink shrug for the holidays. So that's me and my pink shrug for the holidays. So I went to that reception, and then I hopped on over to celebrate my friend Angelique Jackson, who is the senior entertainment writer for Variety. She was given the Excellence in Entertainment Award by the National Association of Broadcast Journalists in Los Angeles. And there I am celebrating her. Then I hopped on over and I went to the Zootopia 2 premiere. That is under embargo at the moment, so I can't talk about the movie itself, but I was there. And then I hopped on over to see, yeah, you guessed it, baby, Wicked for Good. I am in New York City about to hit the premiere at Wicked for Good. This is a little sneak peek as to what it looks like at Lincoln Center. That is the view from my hotel room. It is beautiful, large, and in charge, and I cannot wait to change clothes, slap a little makeup on, and hop on over there to celebrate that. But I have been promising you guys, and I'll talk about Wicked for Good right before I end the broadcast, but I've been talking to you guys for weeks, teasing for weeks about a few things, but this is what we're going to get into today. I'm going to talk to Jeremy Irons, who is from The Morning Show, which is streaming on Apple TV Plus. I'm also going to speak to Jill Campbell and Rashumba Williams from this documentary, Beyond the Gaze. I did see another animated movie called In Your Dreams. That is with Alex Wu, and I will be speaking with him. I also will be speaking with Rashumba Williams, like I said, who was one of the many models featured in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues. And I'll be talking to the Running Man's Jamie Lawson and Daniel Ezra. They're pictured in the upper right-hand corner of that poster there. And I'm talking to Jason Clark from the Murdoch murder series that is on streaming via Hulu. So I'm getting into all of that. And last but not least, I'm also going to talk to George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Adam Sandler, who are in J. Kelly, which is streaming via Netflix. So what are we going to get into first? Let's get into a little Running Man situation. Let me make sure I have them down here. Now, I had talked to Jamie and Daniel about the film, and I talked about the film last week, but now I'm going to let them tell you all about it.
Good to see you again. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Congratulations on the Grammy nom for Sinners for your song.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time right now. Can you believe Sinners got six nominations?
It got the most in movie history for Grammys. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, we've been cheering all weekend. The cast, the crew, we've been just like celebrating. The text threads are going crazy.
That's great. So listen, I was curious about this. Sheila gives Ben their daughter sock for good luck. Do you have something that was given to you that you hold on to for good luck, or do you think that luck is more like preparation meets opportunity?
I think it's a lot of that. I think my initial instinct when you said that, I think I just hold on to a lot of the words that I feel like people in my life have spoken over me or into me, especially like my elders. I just try to, I try to heed the warnings of the people that come before me. So I don't have like tangible things. For me, I think it's the words, it's the lessons that people try to teach me or forewarn me. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that The Running Man is a suicide mission or a very elaborate theme park ride with lots of twists and turns?
What I think it is versus what I would love it to be are two different things. Because honestly, when I watched it, that was my thought. I was like, "Oh man, as a ride, this would be crazy." Um, but yeah, everything is set up against him to fail, and that's what the movie's trying to hit on is the way in which it is glossed up by the network. It becomes confusing and it distorts reality for folks where they go, oh, this is just this entertaining game show. They don't actually get killed or all of this stuff, but it's real lives that are on the line here.
Yeah.
It does a wonderful job of balancing the two.
So listen, I really loved your role in the movie, and I want to ask you this. If you had the opportunity to do a game show, which one would you choose? And have you ever watched one and really figured out the pattern for winning? Because I have.
Oh, no, I've never figured out a pattern for winning anything. I would probably do American Ninja Warrior.
Ooh.
Like that would be fun. I feel like that would be fun and physical. I wouldn't, again, I don't know how I'd win that one. I think that's just sheer. There's a lot of luck goes into that one. But yeah, I'd probably go for that one.
I
What
was
would,
okay. So, speaking of luck, do you think that luck is preparation meets opportunity?
yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do. I do. I think, you always have to make room for amazing things to happen and blessings to happen. But fundamentally, I do think things can happen without you being prepared and then slip by you. And I think that's happened to us all. And it's a tough lesson to learn.
Cool. Now, were you a Stephen King passion person before you started doing this project? And if you were, what's your favorite Stephen King project?
I wasn't. I loved the book. I had read the book before, is what made me really excited. I have only read, I think, a couple. I think It and Misery, but I haven't done the whole gamut. But I want to. I want to for sure because his movies are always so deeply affecting and raw and strange in a beautiful way. And so, yeah, I kind of want to. I've made it my mission to kind of read them all.
And one last question I want to ask you. This project kind of feels timeless in terms of what we're going through in America right now with the hunters feeling very much like ICE. Were
Yeah.
you surprised at how relatable this is still nearly like 30 years later?
Yeah, what's scary is the book was written in the 80s, but it's set in 2025, and which was insane. And so, um, yes, it feels like the perfect time for this movie to come out, which is both a good and bad thing.
Right?
It feels like the perfect time for this movie to come out, and I hope when it's all said and done, the thing that people take is that we're stronger together, and we have to look after each other.
And I think that's a great place to end. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your time. I appreciate you.
Likewise.
All right, bye. Again, you guys, The Running Man is a Paramount Pictures flick, and it is in theaters right now, starring Glenn Powell, Coleman Domingo, Jamie Lawson, Daniel Ezra, and so many more. The Murdoch Murders is a very famous true crime case in which Alec Murdoch has been accused of murdering his wife and his youngest son. It's been in the news, it's been in trials for quite some time. And yeah, so that's what's going on with that. And I talked to Jason Clark, who plays Alec Murdoch, and I'm gonna let you hear what he has to say about justice and how that goes down. Here we go. Cool. Carla Renata, the curvy critic.
Hello, Renata. How are you?
I'm good, Jason. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Listen, when I watched this series, it took me a minute to realize that it was you, and all I knew is that it's a full testament to, your artistic skills as an actor, on being a real human being who focuses on the focal point of this person's life and his circumstances, as opposed to, what he
Yeah.
looks like. So,
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
No, you watch a lot of stuff that was very well broken down. Thank you.
Thank you. Not a problem. Not a problem. I just have a question though. I'm from the Midwest. I'm not from the South. What's with calling everybody Bubba? I just need to know. What is it with Bubba?
I know.
Like, Bubba. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know either, but it was just like, I got to say, it was enjoyable. There was just, I mean, it's like, I'm from Australia and we use mate. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mate.
Right.
Hey, mate, what's going on? Except with women, you don't call them. But it's one of those idiosyncratic things. I was just like, I asked the same question. The writer was from South Carolina. I said, yeah, it's a thing. I said, damn, straight away, I'm using it, dude. I'm all for it. There's something disarming. Yeah. Although I started using it at home when I was shooting at home, and my sons told me to stop.
I bet they did. They were like, what are you doing?
They did that. Don't bring that around here, Dad.
They're like, what is happening right now? So listen, justice, I feel like with this particular case is a very interesting notion, especially in the still ongoing case. And we feel like there is still justice being sought for this family, right?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about justice being on the other side of this project?
Yes, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I mean, I honestly think we have the best justice. We have a similar one in Australia, trial by your peers, that it has deep flaws in it. I mean, I always found it fascinating that his as an injury lawyer, it's a trial by your peers. So they could try the train station for accidents, and it's all people that lived in the community. So everybody's making off of this. So it was like, it was bad news for the train stations, and they stopped going through at one point because they were losing so many bad insurance cases. And then here Alec is at the end, and he's been tried by a community that knows him, or so a small. And so it's like, it's a funny, and then, the county clerk is now up on charges. There was, one of the jurors was removed. There was the egg, all these things. It becomes, but then that's what we have. But it makes you think about, what is justice? Should he have had a trial by his peers? Was he able to have a trial by his peers? It was fair and even. But at the same point, that's who tried him. He'd betrayed that community. He'd ripped them off. I mean, he found himself in such an awkward position once that financial stuff come out. It was like, empathy's out the window when you've ripped off a paraplegic boy and his family. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
Like, there's no coming back from that.
No.
And you go, well, it's like, it even is, you say, because when I went down it, I used to think I justified, I'm not guilty to myself to play him. You know what I mean? There's no gun. There's no smoking weapon. There's no blood. Man, I got ripped off, man. You know what I mean, Bo? I got ripped off. They done me dirty, But you go down, and it's like, Waters managed to put together a case to show that there was nobody else but him, and you go, well, on it goes. He's going to appeal. He's come out and he said some things about us. I don't have an answer to your question, but I love talking about it. What is justice? And I still do believe that we have the best system available. You know what I mean? There's it's not perfect. There are holes in it. It's to be expected. You know what I mean? But here we are. And it becomes gripping, viewing and gripping reading, doesn't it? You watch this man get up on the thing and try to cry as he talks about his things, but he's got no tears left. And he's talking about his most humiliating things, detoxing and having diarrhea in front of his son and his brothers and his sister-in-law. And you go, this is just unbelievable. In front of everybody, they're right there. And then lying in the courtroom and getting caught out, and his son's sitting there.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like if you didn't know this was a true story, you would think somebody made it up. Like for
You
real.
would think somebody made it up.
You would
Yeah.
think somebody made. Dude, I could talk to you. There's so many more things I want to talk to you about this in terms of the characterization, but I'm out of time, Jason. We
Oh, it's
just
a
didn't have enough
pleasurable.
time.
I love a good interesting question though. Thank you so much.
Oh, I know you do. That's why I came prepared because I know you're that dude. I'll see you
No, I
next
love a
time.
good chat because yeah, we work hard on these things, and they're very complicated, and there's no answer, but it brings up things which I really find interesting, and justice is a big one.
Cool. Well, thank you. I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Boet.
Why was my mic muted? I'm so confused. Why was my mic muted? Anyway, it's called The Murdoch Murders. It stars Patricia Arquette and Jason Clarke. Yay. All right. So there's that. I hope y'all have been able to hear me all this time because that would really suck if you hadn't. Um, yeah. So anyway, that's that. I spoke to Alex Wu about his new film called In Your Dreams. It is going to be streaming on Netflix and it deals with Stevie and her little brother. Let me come back on camera so that you can see me actually talking. That would be nice, huh? Stevie and her little brother, Elliot, go on this journey into the wildly absurd landscape of their own dreams to ask the Sandman to grant them the perfect family. Now, when I was growing up, the Sandman meant somebody that just kind of woke you up from your sleep. This is giving the Sandman a whole different storyline and nightmares and carrying on. But I talked to the director, Alex Wu, about it, and he had some really interesting things to say. So I want to share that conversation with you right now. Carla Renata, the curvy film critic. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Carla. I love your name.
Thank you. I love it too. Listen, I was in the ugly cry for this because I have a little brother who gets on my last nerve sometimes.
You and me both. You and me both.
I mean, we're grown adults, but you know how it is.
Go ahead.
But what I really wanted to ask you, when I was growing up, the Sandman was simply somebody that cast sleep over you. But in your dreams, the Sandman kind of flips between good versus evil with Night Mara. What
Yeah.
made you come up with the Sandman in that type of concept?
Yeah, well, I think from the very beginning, part of the reason I made this movie is because I feel like, especially in America, there's so much pressure on people and kids to make their dreams come true and to achieve their dreams, which I think at some level is really healthy and it's good to have ambition. But um, I think it can go sometimes it can go too far because if you don't achieve your dreams, which is often happens, you feel like something's wrong with you or you feel like you're not living life to its fullest. And I just don't think that that's true. And so I wanted to try and like flip the charge on dreams and then nightmares. And conversely with nightmares, I feel like, the nightmares of life, oftentimes things don't always go our way. And that can be really challenging. But when those things have happened to me in my life, when I look back, I think that those are the moments that I've grown the most, or that I've learned the most, or that it's brought me together with the people around me that I love and strengthened those bonds. And so I feel like nightmares have a real like positive function and purpose in life. So I kind of wanted to flip the charge on those two things, which was, yeah, part of the original sort of conceit of this film.
Yeah, I peeped that. I was like, "Ooh, that's so interesting." I couldn't wait to ask you about that. And I love how, in terms of nightmares, you incorporated that ideology between about the nightmare people losing their teeth when she starts losing her teeth. I love that you did that. I was like, "Ooh, is she losing her teeth?" I love that. I also wanted to talk to you about because I think this is a very important film for families to watch together because it tackles the family situation of the parents separating and the kids not taking on that responsibility. How
Yeah.
important was it for you to approach this through animation, and was your impetus initially to try to make this as a learning tool for little kids going through that type of trauma?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, it's a very personal film. A lot of the things that happen in the film happened to me when I was in my family. So when I was like 6 or 7 years old, my mom sort of went away for a little while, and like, my parents nearly split up, and it was really hard for me. And I think I felt like, oh, it's my job to keep my family together. And at some level I thought like maybe I did something wrong, and obviously, that's not the case. There's nothing kids can do to affect their parents' relationship. And so, in many ways, this was sort of trying to liberate kids from that unnecessary burden and responsibility, and just to really reinforce to them that like life is not perfect, people aren't perfect, and families aren't perfect, and that's okay. I mean, that's actually what makes life meaningful. It's like when you get through the messiness of life together with the people that you love, like that's what life is all about.
I love the soundtrack too. Let me just throw that in there.
Mm.
And I also love, I heard you say one time, if you can dream it and imagine it, you can do it. Is
Yeah.
this one of the reasons why you established Cuckoo Studios? Because it was important for you and necessary for you to have control over the narrative regarding animated projects the way you wanted to see them done?
Yeah, I think a little bit. It's not so much that I wanted control. It's that I think I just got really excited by what Netflix was doing with streaming. So, I mean, it was around 2013 that House of Cards came out. I don't know if you remember that show, but man, it was so good. And
I loved that show.
oh my God, yeah. And it just blew everybody out of the water because like Netflix was a DVD mailing company at the time. And so everybody was like, what is this DVD mailing company doing making shows this good? And so I just knew that it was they were going to change the industry in a really big way. And so I left Pixar because I wanted to try and take advantage of this sort of streaming revolution that I saw happening sort of right before our eyes. And I thought that they were doing really interesting storytelling because the model was so different. They didn't have to rely on box office success like opening weekend, because their subscribers were like loyal, they could take risks with their stories. And so that was really exciting for me as an artist and as a filmmaker.
Well, you seem like a filmmaker that takes lots of risks, animation wise, and I really appreciated it, particularly within your dreams. So, having said that, I want to thank you so much for your time. I could really get deep into this, but they're giving me the hook, so I gotta
Okay.
go. But
All
thank you
right.
so much for giving me your time today. I appreciate you,
Yeah,
Alex.
you're very welcome. Thanks, Carla. It's great talking to you.
Same here. Bye. I'm serious. I really loved this animated movie. It gives so much, it brought me so much joy, mostly because like I said, I have a little brother and it centers around a sister and a brother relationship and their how they're trying to save their parents and their family through their dreams and their nightmares. It is streaming on Netflix. It began on November 14th, I believe. Maybe it's in theaters and then it comes to Netflix because they do that sometimes. I'll clarify that and come back and give you that information. Okay. Um, Next up, we're going to talk to Jill Campbell and Rashumba. So, Jill Campbell is the daughter in law of Julie Campbell. Julie Campbell was the woman who was responsible for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. And this began streaming on Netflix again as of November 11th. This documentary explores the life and legacy of Julie, who was the founding editor of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and her journey in a male-dominated industry. The film examines the evolution of beauty standards and the changing gaze on women in media, as seen through Campbell's pioneering work and her collaboration with models like Rashumba Williams, Tyra Banks, Christy Brinkley, Kathy Ireland. The list goes on and on and on and on. So I'll let them tell you more about it in this interview that I did with Jill Campbell and Rashumba Williams centered around Beyond the Gaze. I saw you do an interview, Jill. You were like, people think this is about women in swimsuits. No, it's not about women in swimsuits. It's a story about a woman who had no problem taking up space for herself and for other women to show how powerful they were and how celebrated they should be in the female form and not gazed upon, like prey or whatever. So
I'll let you talk the whole interview because
but I got to come correct because I saw it and I loved what I saw. So Jill, I want to talk about what was the very first time you met Julie and how you were able to see beyond the gaze of her.
That's a great question. Well, like, as you know from the film, she's my mother-in-law. And I'm a documentarian, but I met her when I was 21. I graduated college. I moved to New York City to become an actress. I was a waitress, and I met Bruce, her son, in a bar. And
that's what we used to do back in the day.
That's what we did. I was hostessing, actually, and I thought I didn't even know anyway, she was on location when I met him, but so I didn't meet, we started dating and I didn't meet her for a couple of months because she used to leave in October and she would be gone. Back then they scouted for 2 months, but
right.
So
yeah, we used to shoot around that time of year, October, November, December. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was this mystery of this career woman traveling to this exotic place with all these famous models. Cause I met him in 1988. And so when I met her, she really became a second mother to me. I mean, I love my mother, but my mother and Julie were very close, but they're very different. So each lady gave me something different. Julie showed me the world. She showed me class. She showed me elegance. She showed me, like you said, she was a career woman. She was a smart, strong lady who knew her mind. And the last goal she had was to objectify women.
Right.
Yes.
But I can speak to that as well. As Jill says, when it came to the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue models, Julie did not objectify us. What she did was use that SI platform to launch us into successful careers, also to create influencers. And she had a mission to create diversity and lift women up, not to like put them out there as like meat on the market. I mean, she did not have any bone of objectification in her body. She just wrapped her arms around us, and just gave us a platform where we could soar and become the successful women that we are today.
I love that. And Rashamba, I remember that's how I initially became aware of you as well, from your covers on SI. And you did 7 covers, but what was it like the very, very first time you did a cover for SI? Because for models at that time in America or anywhere really, for a model, that was a really big deal. Right. It still is.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did 7 issues.
My
first cover was in 2024.
Okay.
This right here. But it was the Legends cover. My first, but I did do 7 years. But I think the reason why I stood out so much because there was no one in the magazine that looked like me at that time. I mean, there was no one, really dark skinned with curly natural hair, that had a pretty distinctive look. And Julie celebrated that. And I'll be very honest with you, Carla. We're American, Julie, all of us, Jill. We grew up watching Sports Illustrated. This was not a standard of beauty.
No, it was
wasn't
not.
Like what you consider to be a standard of beauty in America at that time. And my first shoot was in 1989. So we're talking, beauty since the inception of the magazine or this issue from the 60s. So from the 60s to 1989. No one who looked like me was featured. And then Julie had a vision and, a desire to diversify and be inclusive. And she always wanted to feature women of different nationalities, women of color, Asian, Latin, blondes, brunettes, we were all her babies, all her children. And so when she hired me, growing up with Sports Illustrated, living in the Midwest, I just was like, oh my goodness. And my mom was floored. So when I actually saw myself in the issue, I realized that something special was really happening, that I was being considered and looked upon as someone that was, on par with the ideal of beauty at that time.
She was really gifted at being able to capture the individual models, yourself included, the aura, whatever aura and energy the individual women had, it always came through in the photographs. And that's what I really loved about watching the journey of how she captured you guys on film for throughout her years as the person that ran that particular program, getting the Sports Illustrated issue out. But just as let me tell you something, as a woman, I'm so excited. I just can't contain it. As a woman, I just was so elated to see that this was a woman who I did not know that she was behind it, had no clue. So once I figured that out, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then all these other women are being featured in the documentary. And then Jill, you directed it and put it all together and used all this footage that probably nobody would ever be able to see if it were not for you. I'm so grateful that you all did it. And it's so inspiring and aspiring is what I want to say. Lastly, I just want to ask you all, what do you think Julie would feel about all this attention that she's getting right now? And before you answer, Rashomba, I just want to tell you that moment that you had when you guys called on the phone and how viscerally moved you were.
Yeah.
Girl, that took me out. I was in the ugly cry. I was in the ugly cry over here. I really was. But how do you think she would feel about that if she was here? I mean, she had a long life. She was in her 90s. God bless her.
Yeah.
Not everybody's able.
We were crying on set. Everyone was just ugly crying during that. Yeah.
Listen, this is
I don't want to start crying now, Carla.
I'm not trying to make you cry, sis. I'm just really trying to celebrate.
I know, but I understand. I think because I didn't expect it, and you have to realize the last time I saw Julie, this was in 2023 or 2022? It was
during the pandemic, right?
So it was in 2022. So I hadn't seen or heard from Julie. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, she passed away a couple of months later, remember?
Right.
2022. Yeah.
Right, 2022. And I hadn't seen or heard from Julie, oh my God, since 2005, because we shot a television show, the making of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model search. And we were in Bora Bora, and I was lucky enough. My last time actually shooting for the magazine was in, I think, 1995. And then they brought me back in 2005 to actually shoot the television show. And then after that, 2022. So I hadn't really seen or heard from her. So I remember the Julie with the brown hair. And then when Jill was showing me pictures and then I heard her voice, it was like every moment we spent together, rose up in me. And I just, my heart just.
I overstand. I'm going to close it out by leaving this with y'all because I don't want to take up more of your time because I know they kind of squeeze me in. But, memories are the movies of our minds, right? So when you welled up like that, Rashomba, that was the movie replaying itself in your mind of a beautiful time in your life that you'll never, ever forget and will cherish always. And for you, Jill, the same goes for you. This is a woman that you probably never would have met had you not met her son. And she opened up a whole wealth of, not opportunities, but a whole wealth of knowledge for you in a different lane that you probably would have never gone down had you not met her. So I want to applaud both of you for your contributions to this and for bringing it to light and for making sure that her legacy will never, ever, ever die because now it's immortally captured in celluloid. So thank you. Again, you guys, it is called Beyond the Gaze, and it is streaming on Netflix right now. The Morning Show is streaming on Apple TV Plus. It is one of my favorite shows. It stars Jill Aniston, Billy Crudup, Reese Witherspoon, Karen Pittman, Nicole Bahari. The list goes on and on. Greta Lee, like it's a Marianne Cotillard joined it this season. It is a plus cast. But Jeremy Irons is on there this season, and he's playing Jennifer Aniston's dad under some very unusual circumstances. But what I'd like to tell you before I go into this interview is that I talk about being an actress all the time. The Lion King celebrated 28 years this year of being on Broadway, and I was fortunate enough to originate the role of Shenzi in the Los Angeles production, which ran for 3 years. So I started out the interview talking to Jeremy Irons about that because Jeremy Irons was the original Scar in the animated movie The Lion King, the one that started it all. Take a look and a listen to this interview centered around the morning show with my boy, Jeremy Irons. Oh, yeah. So I feel like we're cousins and connected, and this is why. I was Shenzi in the LA production of The Lion King, and you were Scar in the original movie.
Yeah,
well. Well, Bonsai, what have we got here?
Yeah. Did you see the show we did at or were you in it I
was in it.
At the Bowl?
I was in I did. I saw it at the Bowl, but I was in the original LA production that sat in LA for 3 years.
Right. Very nice.
Yeah. Good. All right, let's get to it. So when I was a student at Howard University, there was a Washington Post reporter who was accused of plagiarizing a story called Jimmy's World about an 8-year-old kid that was a heroin addict, and she won the Pulitzer Prize for it. Right. And she was later forced to resign and give the prize back. And in this episode and season of The Morning Show, your character is allegedly accused, but even with allegations, I feel like it can bring the cancel culture vultures out and up to your door. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that as it relates to Martin leaving?
Well, I think it's very unfortunate for him. Where do ideas come from? Where do they come out of the air? They come out of discussion, I really pity those people who've been caught in this cancel culture, as we call it. I think it's very tough. I mean, fair enough if you've been tried and found guilty for something, all right, then cancel. But this sort of arbitrary situation, I think, is not healthy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Also, on another note, on the daddy-daughter note, I recently lost my dad, and our relationship was really, really complicated, but it was the best ever. And my dad just wanted me to be tough because he was a Marine, and that's what he knew, right?
Right.
But Martin seems to only want to deal with Alex when he needs something. That was my take on it. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I think there's a bit of truth in that, yeah. He's not a perfect character. He's not a perfect father. And I think that's very useful for the story. But I think I understand where he's coming from, where a lot of men come from, but a lot of men get it wrong and, don't do too well.
Where do you think men are coming from when it comes to that exactly?
Well, I think they tend to be a bit tunnel vision towards their career, and everything else has to take second place, whether it be the family or personal relationships. I think there's a danger of that because men have ambitions and sometimes big ambitions and small brains.
I love you for saying that. Big ambitions and small brains. I will never forget that. Huh. Just to close it out, do you have a favorite morning show that you like to watch or listen to?
No, I don't turn on the television. Probably, if at all, I don't turn it on till the news about 10 o'clock at night before I go to bed. But I watch that less and less because it depresses me so much.
Ooh, honey, I overstand. I don't watch it at all. I'm just like I can't handle it. I just cannot handle it at all.
Yeah, I think we have to take care of our nearest and dearest take care of the people
Yes.
around us. And if we all do that, then I think life will be better than if we stay alone and listen to the news.
Absolutely. Well, as a fellow thespian, I want to just thank you for your time and let you know that I'm a huge fan of yours, have been for quite some time, and it's always a joy to watch your work because it's always spectacular, but it's an even bigger joy for me to be able to speak to you today. Thank you.
Bless you. I growl.
Absolutely. Bye, Mr. Irons.
Bye-bye.
I love that he growled at the end of the interview. That gave me so much joy. Again, you guys, he plays Martin Levy on The Morning Show, which is streaming on Apple TV+. The last interview of the day before I get into my thoughts about Wicked for Good, because the social embargo has lifted, but the review has not. So I cannot review it until next week, but I can give you my reaction to it, because I have seen it. Ooh. Anyway, Jay Kelly is going to be in theaters and streaming on Netflix. It stars George Clooney, Adam Sandler, and Laura Dern. It deals with an aging actor who is faced with choices regarding his life, his career, and where he's going to go from here in this last chapter of life. George Clooney gives the performance of his life, in my opinion, in that film. And Adam Sandler and Laura Dern are endearing and, aspiring as always. So take a look and listen to this interview centered around Jay Kelly with Adam Sandler, George Clooney, and Laura Dern.
Look how beautiful you look.
I came in here for y'all, honey. Carla Renata, the Curvy film critic. I'm sorry. How y'all doing?
You look cool as hell. I
Yeah.
love it that you're here. You're bringing the good energy. We needed it.
We needed it.
Listen,
Yes.
I always do. That's how I roll.
Sometimes Dern's energy will just nosedive. Nosedive, and you go, please, somebody help us.
Please, somebody
Yeah.
pick us up, lift us
I
up.
can't. Out of the Curvy film critic. Hey, George.
All right, girl. You okay?
I'm good. I cannot complain.
Yeah.
And
Me
even if
either.
I could, who wants to hear that, right?
They don't care.
They really don't.
They don't.
I loved you so much in this movie. I really, really, really did. But what I really love is that it was a movie about choices, family, relationships, and all these things. But it's also a movie about memories.
Mm-hmm.
And memories are like a culmination of time, pieces of time, and the memories that make up our life. Which one of your memories would you like to make a movie out of?
Oh, that's funny. Well, a couple of guys I beat in basketball that I think about. I'd like to do that into a film. A couple of famous guys that I really enjoy. It's a funny thing. I think that life goes in different stages, right? And early career stuff is just trying to succeed. And I don't find that to be all that interesting looking back. There's sort of the later stages for me, because I started late. I got married to a mall when I was 52, and I had kids when I was 56. And that's been a real adventure for me. And, listen, I'm an old guy with young kids. I'm running around like, ugh. And so I think that's a more interesting phase in my life and in my memories. So and it's more recent, so I can remember it too. But that would be probably what I'd look at.
That's nice. There's some a lot.
Meeting me, other than meeting me.
Meeting Dern. Meeting Dern and going back in time. That's a good question, man. That's let's see. What are you gonna say, Dern? There's so many nice things you want to go back
I know.
to. Just life.
Yeah.
Just family.
Yeah, it is amazing, right? It immediately goes to family.
Yeah.
Favorite memories and moments.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Don't be throwing it to her. What's yours?
Let's see.
You ain't getting out of it that easy,
I
Adam.
remember the night I met my wife. That was it. You want to know what happened?
Yes.
Locked eyes with her. We got that crazy long gaze going and whispering things to each other and cutie pie stuff, and she would get up and walk away for a second, maybe to go to the ladies' room or whatever, and give me a long look after. I was like, ooh, the long look. She likes me. This is fun. That was nice. That was a big night.
Wow.
28 years ago or something like that. She gazed at me.
Oh, man.
How about you, Durno?
I mean, it might be Jackie Sandler gazing at me for the first
yeah,
time.
she loves you.
Because she is
She's a professional gazer. is that
she's
right?
just the greatest human anybody's ever met.
She loves you, Durno. No doubt.
So, you know the moment in the film where George's character, Jay Kelly, kind of throws his friend under the bus for this audition?
Oh, yes.
In your younger career, did you have a moment like that where somebody either did that to you or you unintentionally did that to someone else?
Maybe there's some unintentional stuff. Yes.
I know. I'm so scared to answer because somebody out there is watching, going, "Yeah, you don't even remember what you did unintentionally."
Must have had moments like that. I just don't remember them clearly. But you know, I remember in the stand-up world, you're all fighting to get on stage. So there's moments that people are battling to get up there, and I'm sure things through other people's eyes go, "Oh yeah, he did this." He did. I'm sure, man. I don't know. I don't want to even know.
Okay, we'll leave that alone.
Why did you bring that up? How dare you?
And so there's the moment where you kind of throw Tim under the bus for the audition.
Yeah.
It cracks me up because it reminds me of that scene in Fame where Leroy goes to the audition with his friend
and he gets
the gig and
Sure.
she doesn't. Yeah. Did you ever have a moment like that?
So many times. And, I remember taking my buddies, my partner still, and my producing partner, Grant Heslov, to ABC to audition for a gig, and I got it and he didn't, and he still rubs it in about that. But there was a lot of that, one of my buddies, Tom, was really working a lot, and he was blonde and I was brunette, and we were always competing. I was trying desperately to beat him. We were in acting class together, but I tried desperately to beat him out of the part. But if I didn't beat him out of the part, I wanted him to get it. It wasn't like,
Right.
But, there was all of that competition when you're young.
Wow. And last but not least.
Uh-oh. There's
Don't
something
be
bad.
scared. Don't be scared.
I am scared now.
Don't be
You worry
scared. Don't be scared. There's so many ways that we can be authentically ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you have for young actors coming up to just lean into who they are and not try to be somebody else, because that person's already taken?
I would say get off of social media, quite honestly, because when I'm directing a film and casting, there'll be two actors I like, and then the studio will come in and say, well, this one has more followers on Instagram, literally. And I think it's probably not helpful. So I would say get off of sort of all of those things and give yourself a little mystery along the way. But it's a harder business now than it was when I was. There's more work by a lot, so there's more work to get, but it's harder to sustain.
A lot of judginess on that social media.
I know. I was just saying, my fourth grade teacher taught me to keep your eyes on your own paper.
That's good.
And I think that might be the best advice I ever got.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. No matter what I noticed on that social media, there's no 100% on the positive. It's positive, negative, positive. Whatever age you are, nobody cares. There's some nastiness. Not necessary to read anything about yourself. Just keep doing your life. Keep going after what you want, and like the things you like, and don't let anybody persuade you into other thoughts.
The two things that I feel like are the great commodities in a human being are the things that aren't celebrated. One is empathy, and the other is uniqueness. Mm-hmm. So you can't be unique if you're looking to model everything else you're seeing.
That's good.
So yeah, let's bring back some empathy for being exactly who you are.
Being exactly who you are. Let me tell y'all something. As I wrap this up, y'all are my two favorite people because you are uniquely you. And you're authentically kind every single time I see you. Thank you so much.
You reflect it.
You bring that.
It's
You're
it's
awesome,
you
buddy.
mirroring it onto us.
You must be the best hanging out with your friends and your family.
Oh, well, you need to find out, Adam Sandler.
Let's go. One dinner is all I'm asking for.
Let's go.
All right, I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you next time. To me, you're one of the last great movie stars, and I love watching you. I think you need to be Cary Grant, though. You need to do a story about Cary Grant.
No, God, no. He's my, by the way, that guy, I saw him, I met him. Toward the end of his life, he was doing a speaking engagement, and I was backstage pulling the curtain. And I didn't know he was going to be there, and all of a sudden, I looked backstage, there's Cary Grant. I was like 21 years old. I was like,
You saw what you were going to look like later.
No, and he would be rolling over right now.
Oh, no, hell no. But thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate you.
I was happy to see you.
Let me tell you something. I've always wanted to speak to George Clooney. I think I've actually talked to Laura Dern 5 times this year, and I've spoken to Adam Sandler a couple of times, but I've never ever spoken to George Clooney about any of his movies. And I was so elated to be able to speak to him this time. Again, the film is called Jay Kelly. I'm going to single-handedly campaign for him to play Cary Grant, and it will be streaming on Netflix coming December 5th. All right. So let me tell y'all a little bit about Wicked for Good. Let me find my little pictures so that I can talk about it properly. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Wicked for Good. So that is a picture of what they're looking like in this iteration. Elphaba has her hair down. It's not in a ponytail. She has really leaned into her authentic self. There is Ariana Grande, who has really leaning into Glinda the Good. And the difference between this version and the other one that you saw this time last year is that Wicked was the evolution of both of these girls, their friendship, and how Elphaba became Elphaba. And we alluded to how Glinda was going to become Glinda, right? But Wicked for Good is about Glinda. And it's also about the choices that everyone makes that affects their past, their present, and their future. That's all I can say about Wicked for Good. What I will tell you is there's some really wonderful things happening with all three of these characters. You have to lean into it and keep your eyes open and find out. You can see there is some Wizard of Oz things going on. It's very brief and to the point. I can't say what it is, but it's very brief and to the point, and you'll love how it all plays out in the end. And yeah, I believe this is the end of the press tour for the Wicked for Good film, because it does come out on the 21st, just in time for Thanksgiving, like it did last time. And across the street, like I showed you, I think I had a picture where I showed you guys what it looked like. Just across the street at Lincoln Center is where the premiere is happening. And I'm telling you, honey, it's packed. They are screaming. You may have heard them screaming every once in a while I was doing the interview, but it is a situation. And I'm about to get my clothes on and hop on over there real quick and slap some makeup on. But yes, Wicked for Good. I will talk about Wicked for Good in its entirety next week, because I am bound by an embargo, but I could come on social media and give my reaction to it. So let's just be clear about that. This is Jeremy Irons when he played Scar, just so that you guys know I'm not making stuff up. So thank you, Jeremy Irons, for talking to me about your role as Martin Levy on the morning show. Thank you to Jill Campbell and Rashumba Williams for talking to me around Beyond the Gaze, which is streaming on Netflix. Also streaming on Netflix is In Your Dreams, directed by Alex Wu. Check that out. What else did I talk about in here today, y'all? I talked about, Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly is also streaming. I got a whole show of Netflix today. Jay Kelly will be streaming on Netflix. I think I talked about that already. Murdoch, this series is going to be streaming on Hulu. It's streaming right now. And that's Jason Clarke in that picture. When I tell you he transforms into a Southern man, and that boy is straight up from the down under, it is, you definitely don't want to miss that, because he's doing the daggum thing. All right, so that is it. And then, of course, I'm going to remind you one more time, as I always do right before I go, that my Christmas TV movie coming on December 6th is called The Christmas Showdown. It stars Amber Stevens West, Corbin Reed, Loretta Devine, Obababa Tunde, Beverly Todd, and myself. And every Saturday in the month of November and December leading up to the holidays, Fake Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is coming on November 29th. Mine is coming December 6th. And the last one, Very Merry Mystery, is coming on December 13th. Thank y'all for joining us, sister, and listening to me ramble for like an hour. And now I'm going to take off and go to Wicked for Good. I'll probably do some live streaming so that you can see it from over there, and we'll get into it. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week when I talk about Wicked for Good. Yeah. Anyway, bye.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love